Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a video that's slightly different for me. I'm doing a makeup do's and a makeup don'ts. So I'm going to divide my face into half and do half my face how I prefer to do it now and how I feel it should be done, versus the other half which I'm guilty of a lot of these makeup mistakes. So I'm just going to put all of those makeup mistakes together on one side and you'll see the difference between this side and this side. So personally, I've done a lot of makeup mistakes that don't work for me, which might work for you, but I found what works for me best, and that's what I'm going to do in the do's today. And I've done a lot of these mistakes in the name of like trends and different styles, but makeup is very individual. So if you like something that I think I don't like, then please feel free to go ahead and continue doing that, because makeup just makes you more confident, and if something makes you more confident, then don't give a shit about anything else. So first I'm going to go in with primer. Now primer is really important. It creates like a barrier between your skin and foundation, and it allows your foundation to sit perfectly on your skin without like giving it that very patchy and cakey effect, because it doesn't like enhance your pores. In fact, it minimizes them. But I used to never use primer before, so I'm not going to use primer on this side of my face. Today I'm using the Colorbar Perfect Match Primer. It's a silicone based primer, and that works the best for me because I have large pores around my nose and my cheek area. So for foundation today, on my don't side, I'm using the Rimmel Lasting Finish 25-hour Nude Foundation in the color Soft Beige. This is super light for me now, and honestly we've all made that mistake by buying like the wrong shade of foundation. Either it's too dark or it's too light. So today I'm going to use a foundation that's way too light for my skin and should not be used. And instantly you can tell that that just shouldn't be on my face. So today for the right side, I'm using the Clinique Beyond Perfection Foundation. This is a 2-in-1 foundation plus concealer. It's in the shade Golden Neutral. I'm going to pick up the foundation with Miracle Sponge by Real Techniques, and I'm going to buff that into my skin. Also, because I laid the primer on before the foundation, it's now going on really smoothly. And a really important thing that I didn't do on the don't side is to take the foundation down on your neck to match it correctly with your face. So I'm going to go in with concealer now. For concealer today, I'm using the Maybelline The Eye Eraser Instant Anti-Age Concealer. As you can see, it's definitely not my shade. Someone bought it for me and it's too light, so I haven't really used it. But I do use it to highlight like the top of my cheekbones. But today I'm going to use this to conceal my dark under eyes. And that's something that doesn't work because it turns your dark under eyes almost grey, because this color doesn't kind of cancel out the blue or the darkness in your under eyes. So you need a concealer that will do that, or a corrector, and then go ahead with a concealer that's maybe a shade or two lighter than your skin tone. I'm just going to twist this up and go directly under my eyes in a U shape instead of making an upside down triangle, which I'm going to do on my do side. Another really big mistake that I see is setting my foundation, concealer and all of that with powder foundation immediately before letting the foundation and concealer even dry a little bit. And this creates that extreme cakiness on your face. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, of course. On my do side, I'm actually going to go ahead and conceal my under eye circles as well as conceal around my mouth where I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation. For that, I'm using the M.A.C Pro Longwear Concealer. This is in the shade NW35. This is just to conceal my under eye circles, so I'm not going to go in the downward triangle with this concealer because it's dark and it's supposed to correct and conceal my dark circles. So after that, we'll use a highlighting shade and then go ahead with the highlighting part. So now that I've corrected my under eyes, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me shade in medium, the concealer, and I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that area. To highlight, I'm just going to take it down the sides of my nose and go in an upward triangle. Also, I'm not going to take that right under my eye because that's where we've corrected and that's where we do not want to bring too much light. I'm just going to take like a loose powder and the wet miracle sponge, and now I'm going to put that powder on the top of the concealer and the foundation. This will make sure that the powder really like melts into the skin and it does not create that very cakey effect but makes it look a little bit more natural. Just to go under my eyes, I'm going to keep that powder right there at the sides of my nose and everywhere we've used that concealer to highlight. This will ensure that if we keep it on for like at least a minute, it'll stay there, it'll seep whatever is necessary into the skin and the rest we can dust off. For the rest of the face, I'm going to go back in with the brush but with very little powder on the brush, flick off the rest and then just go ahead and tap that in. Now for my eyes, I never used to use a base, so today I'm not going to use a base, and instead on my do side I'm using the M.A.C paint pot. This is in the shade Laying Low. It's really important to use a base under your eyeshadow because if you have oily lids, your eyeshadow is just not going to appear, the pigment's not going to stay on your eyes as well as it would on top of a base. So it's very important to set your eye base. So I'm just going to use my Makeup Geek eyeshadows today. You can use whatever eyeshadows you prefer. I'll just use a bone or like an ivory color to just set that base. This will make sure that the eyeshadows we put now will just blend very smoothly on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my blending brush and go in with like a shimmery brown shadow and just going to put that in my crease. One thing I learned is never to put like shimmer colors in your crease because we put slightly darker colors in our crease to add depth. But if you're bringing like shimmer particles or some kind of like glitter into your crease, this just attracts a lot of light, which is what we don't want. So it won't create that shadow in your crease. I'm just going to add a shimmery color to my lid. Now immediately you can see that that color does not show up because I have no base and I have a lot of pigmentation on my eyes. So it's going to show up like really grey and brown even though it's like a gorgeous, beautiful periwinkle, like bluish. That's like my fourth layer of eyeshadow and it's still not showing up. So I'm just going to give up right now and go ahead and start putting on eyeshadow on the right side of my face. Using the same blending brush, just going to dust off the rest of the eyeshadow that we put on top and take like a nice transition color that's slightly darker than my skin tone just to add a little bit of depth. And as you can see, I'm going in with a very light hand and very small strokes, and I'm just going to make like really tiny circles and go in back and forth in a blending motion. Now I'm going to go in with a slightly darker brown just to define my crease a little bit. For my lid shade, I'm going to go in with the same shade, but you'll instantly see the difference between the two eyes. For eyeliner, I'm going to go ahead and wing my eyeliner. And a moment of silence for all of us who used to wear those Amy Winehouse wings like on an everyday basis. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with my wing. I'm going to extend it all the way up to my brow and like make it really dark and dramatic. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my eyeliner on my do side, and that's just going to be how I do my eyeliner normally, which is thin in the inner corners, slightly thicker on the outer, and it's just going to make a small flick. For For mascara today, on my don't side, I'm using an older mascara that's really dried out. So it's going to be really clumpy, just shouldn't be on your lashes. And that's like a big makeup mistake for me. For my do side, I'm using the Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara. And I'm also going to curl my eyelashes on my do side. Never forget your bottom lashes because it creates a lot of imbalance if you forget that. Now that I'm done with mascara, I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. And we all have different styles of brows, we all like different kinds of brows, and I'm not saying any kind of brow is not the right brow. So you can like feathery brows or like dark brows, but I know that something that doesn't work on me is a complete no-no. So I'm just gonna go ahead on my don't side and make like the most square brows that I have tried and just didn't work for me. So that's my don't. So instantly you can tell that that's just not my brow color. That's very dark and too black and just too square to fit my face. Another thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to use a spoolie because I figured out what a spoolie was quite late. So I'm just going to use a spoolie on my do side. First on my do side, I'm just going to take all the brow hair and I'm just going to put it in the direction that I want it to go in. Now I'm going to use an angle brush and some brow powder and make really short, thin strokes just to mimic the hair on my brows. I'm just going to go ahead and just fill in the sparse areas. Just that way I'm going to put the concealer under and on top, as well as using a thinner brush. I'm just going to take that and go ahead and buff that out. So now for contour, I'm just going to use like a bright orange based bronzer. This is something that you should just bronze your face with to add a little bit of like a glow and like a more sun-kissed look, and that's something you shouldn't contour. Now contour is to add depth in your face. So when you turn naturally, you'll see that your face already has shadows where you have like grey effect. So that's where you want to put in your contour that's slightly more grey toned and not so bright and orange. So I'm just going to go ahead on my don't side and use this orange bronzer, and I'm going to go ahead and contour my face. Maybe it's a little exaggerated, but I feel like I've seen this a lot. Also, to contour my nose, I'm going to take the same bronzer, which is yet again very orange to contour your nose with, and I'm just going to create one line down my nose. Make sure that you do not bring the line very close to your mouth. This creates that terrible 5 o'clock shadow. Now on my do side, that's my right side, I'm going to use the NYX contour kit, and I'm just going to go ahead with this shade right here. This is slightly more grey and more neutral tone than the warm bronzer that we used right now. And I'm also going to take like a more flat brush like this, and wherever I can see that line forming, I'm just going to go ahead and place that contour there. Also, while blending the contour, I'm going to make sure that I go upwards rather than downwards. Once again, to contour my nose, I'm going to go ahead with the same like grey based shade, and I'm just going to take that and put that down my nose, but I'm going to start in the middle and not too high. Now I'm going to go ahead and bronze my face. So I'm using the same bronzer that we used on the don't side, but I'm only going to use it to bronze the sides of my face. So I'm going to pick up a little bit, again tap off the excess. I'm just going to place that where I feel like the sun would hit my face and give me that very tanned effect. Now for blush, today I'm using the same blush but a different technique, and because I don't want to pick up too much product, I'm first going to go in with my do side, which is the right side of my face. I'm going to take a little bit of product, just going to tap off the excess on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to take that and place that on my apples of my cheeks, but going slightly higher and not just keeping it right here. This will add that very natural flushed look. Now for this side of my face, I'm going to take the same brush, the same blush, but I'm just going to do it in a technique that I've seen on a lot of people. So I'm just going to take that I'm going to place that by smiling. I'm just going to place it there. So for everyone's favorite product, it's the highlighter. I'm using the Mary Luminizer by the Balm, and I'm going to start on this side of my face first. Now yes, excessive highlighting, everyone loves it, everyone wants to look glowy, but if you have slightly larger pores and if it doesn't really match your skin tone, it's not going to look nice, and it's just going to enhance all your pores in that one strip, so you're just going to look really cakey and like it's going to show every little bump on your skin. I'm also going to take that on top of my eyebrow because, I mean, everyone wants to look glowy and highlighted. And the extreme nose highlight. So on one side, we're just going to go ahead and like extremely highlight our nose. For this side of my face, I'm going to pick up the same highlighter with the same brush, but I'm just going to go ahead and place it first and then use the Miracle Sponge to buff that into my skin, giving it that very like glow from within look. So now that we're done with highlighter, I'm going to go ahead with liquid lipstick, which is my favorite part. And since I'm a sucker for nude liquid lipsticks, I'm just going to use like a really nude liquid lipstick on this side versus something that matches your skin tone and looks nuder on you, which is the correct kind of nude that you should wear. Also, I'm noticing like so many lines where powder has just like settled on this side of my face because we didn't let the foundation or anything dry and we just like stuffed a lot of powder on our face. So once that dries, that's going to settle and become a little bit lighter as well. So that's really going to look like we almost put concealer with a little bit of color on our lips. And side of my face, I'm going to select a nude that I really like. It's slightly more purplish nude. It's Coffee Light by Lakme from the 9 to 5 matte liquid lipstick range. So just for this half of my face, I'm going to apply some Fix Plus, and that will allow all the makeup to set into my face and will also remove any kind of powdery effect that's remaining. I'm going to let that dry and then we're going to go ahead and see the final result. So like you can see, this side of my face it's patchy, it's dark, it's light, it's just a mixture, it's very unbalanced. There's absolutely no coordination between any parts of this face. I know it's a very drastic effect between this and this side of my face, and it's a little bit exaggerated, but I have seen these mistakes and I've made them personally, and I'd love for you guys to comment down below. Tell me if these mistakes are any mistakes you've made earlier and how your makeup game has changed in the past few years. If you guys want to see any like makeup hacks or any other kind of videos from me, please let me know down in the comment section. You can also follow me on my social medias and tell me there. It's Instagram and Twitter at WeMakeupLife and Snapchat at @TinaTengra. I know I'm gonna break out like really badly on this side of my face because of the amount of product I've caked on my face, and it's just not the right look. So if you guys really appreciate that I did this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave. Click the button down below, the red button there, and tell me if you've subscribed to my channel or my social medias, or comment down below. Don't forget to please like this video and share this with your friends, and you can maybe laugh about it. See you next time. Bye!